Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. This is Kay, back at it with a new vlog. Today I want to talk about my visit to a new grocery store in Englewood called Save a Lot. Now you might have saw on TV the last few weeks that the residents of the community called Englewood in Chicago on the west side protested that they did not want this Save-A-Lot in their community. So I'm gonna give you a little history. Save-A-Lot took over the store Whole Foods used to be in. Whole Food claimed that they wasn't making any money, so they decided to close up shop, which is fine. I mean, in business, you in business to make money. Whole Foods got a lot of incentives to open up shop there in the first place. Englewood, that particular area I know well because, I've done business in that area, was a food desert. They had, to my knowledge, just a Walgreens on 63rd, and like right down the street, they had Aldi's. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a Aldi's. Yeah, it was a Aldi's. And that was it. And then everything else was like a gas station or something like that, or a small mom and pop type store. So they really didn't have any grocery stores that they can call their own until Whole Food stepped up and built a small Whole Food store on 63rd and Husted. The store was nice, they had a nice selection. However, I just felt that the Whole Foods, in my opinion, was kind of expensive because I did go in there to buy certain items, and the prices were kind of up there. Whole Foods, your whole check, right? So I wasn't personally a big fan of that Whole Foods. I thought that a Walmart would have probably fitted better because they had a lot of name brand items, and they had items that people were familiar with, and the price was better. So I'm not trying to get ahead of myself on this story. So they wasn't able to get a Walmart. So Whole Foods stepped up, big fanfare. People shopped at the store, and everything was going well, I thought. And then all of a sudden, Whole Foods said, hey, we're not making any money. We decided that we're going to close the store. Now, the then mayor, Lori Lightfoot, shopped around to try to get another vendor to take Whole Foods' place. But she didn't have any luck. No one wanted to come. The only person that stepped up to the plate was Save-A-Lot, which is owned by Yellow Banana. And so they were excited about it, and they felt that they was doing the neighborhood a favor by moving there because no one else wanted to do it. What did they get for their troubles? They got protests, people saying they didn't want it, they wanted a better store, they wanted a Walmart, a Mariano's, some of the big players, right? And it just wasn't happening. So they protested it. They protested the opening, which was a disappointment because, the store owners, they bought merchandise to go in there, food, dry goods, vegetables. So what do you do with all that stuff? Supposedly they gave it away because it was going to waste. So fast forward. So I finally got a chance to go there myself to see what was all the hoopla about. I went there and it was the parking lot was dead. You might have had a few cars. It looked like the place was actually closed. To be honest with you, it looked like it was. I thought it was closed, but I was with a friend. I said, "Let's go see." We went in. You had a few. You had a few employees. I think it was like one cashier, and then you had one guy. He was stocking, and then I think it was a security guard. And I thought that was about it. We went in. It was almost kind of set up like the old Whole Foods. They had when you came in, they had pretty much the same setup. You had your fruits and vegetables when you first walked in, and then you had, as you went further back, you had the butcher's counter, which was closed. That was dead. And then you had small selections of meats like chicken, ground beef, and some other things. You had some ribs. Ribs always good, right? And that was about it. And then the aisles, they had pretty much the basic things you need. Toilet paper, paper towels, potato chips, things of that sort. Nothing to write home about. It was basically, it is what it is. Was it on a level of a Whole Foods? No. Was it on the level of a Walmart or Mariano's and some of the other big players? No. It was a pretty low budget affair. Which leads me to this. If you can't get the people you want, sometimes you gotta settle for what you can get until you can do better. Because that area does not have any major grocery stores. So at the moment, that's the best they could do. Now, what happens when Save-A-Lot, owned by Yellow Banana, decide that it's not going to work and they're going to pull out? Will one of the bigger players come in immediately and take its place? Probably not. So now you're left again with the Aldis, which when I was in the area, I used to go in there, and they had again the basic things you need. It wasn't stocked to the brim with all the things that you need. They had pretty much the basic items that you can use, and so. And then you get, of course, the Walgreens. And the Walgreens was like, they had you can only put so much in a Walgreens because, Walgreens, of course, is a pharmacy. And then, they got other things going on. And the place isn't that big, so it's only so much you could do there. So my question is, and I'm not knocking either side, you want what you want, right? At this stage of the game, right, if you supported that store and you encouraged it to do better, I'm sure they would have tried. But when I went in there, it looked like they wasn't going to be there long. It looked like that the place was dead. And the inside, you may have had maybe one or two other people in there shopping, which isn't a good sign if you want to see progress, right? So I think Save-A-Lot, even though they tried, right, they won't be there long. It was a couple of weeks back that one of their other stores to Save a Lot, and I believe it was Washington Park. It was broken into, and I think people took stuff out of there, and they immediately closed that store. They said, "We're not opening back up." And then they had a sign out on the door telling people to go to the Englewood location on 63rd and Halsted. But now, you might have another store that's going to close. So we're going to have another food desert, right? And when you have a food desert, you got to consider people that don't have a car. Because if you don't have a car, how you going to get to some of these nicer stores, right? It's only so much you can carry on the bus. So you're kind of stuck. Now, is Save a Lot the best? No, it's not, but it's a start. I'd rather have something there than nothing there. It's like having money. I'd rather have a little money in my pocket than no money in my pocket. So I guess the people of Englewood have to decide, what's the next step for them. Because you can't make somebody come to your community. You can't do that. You can want all you want, but if a vendor don't want to come, they're not coming. And then if you factor in, well, maybe it's some crime there too, well, they're not, or looting, that may discourage a vendor from coming there as well. So Save a Lot, they wasn't the top tier, but they did step up. And to be fair, it wasn't the best and it wasn't the worst. It looked like that, if you treat them good, then they can, and the people come in there and they spend their money and they showing some love. Well, if I was the owner of that store, I would, try to make it better. But if no one's coming in, parking lot is empty, why would I do anything other than let the little merchandise that I do have in there sell out, and then you're going to see that being boarded up as well. So let me know what you think. Again, this is Kay, back at it with a new vlog. Take care, guys.